Alright y'all, welcome back. In this video, we're going to be looking at how do we find the volume of pyramids and cones. Next video, we'll be doing spheres, so that will be next time. Now, the way that we find the volume of a pyramid, we need two things, just like we did with the volume of a prism. We need the height, abbreviated H, is the distance from the tip of the pyramid up here to the center of the base. So all the way down here to the middle of the base. One quick thing to note that this is not the slant height. The slant height over here is the height you use when you're dealing with surface area. With volume, we use the standard height. And it's the same formula as volume of a prism, with one exception. Instead of just base area times height, it's 1/3 base area times height. But otherwise, it's the exact same formula. So if you can do volume of a prism, you can do volume of a pyramid very easily. So if we write down our equation, volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. We need to find the area of our base and our height. Now, height's pretty easy most of the time. It gives us this height right here, which is 4. So that's taken care of. The only other thing we need is our base area. And since this is a square pyramid, the base is a square. And so we just multiply the two sides of our square, 3 times 3, and we get a base area of 9. Plug those into our equation. Volume equals 1/3 times 9 times 4. And this equation is so simple, we don't even need a calculator, because we know that 1/3 of 9 is 3, and 3 times 4 is 12. Which gives us 12 kilometers cubed. Now, obviously, if you are not comfortable doing that on your own, you can still use a calculator, but you don't have to have one. Now, I'd like us to try this next example, example 13. See if you can find the volume of a pyramid on your own. So pause the video, and then once you're done, unpause it, check your work. Go ahead and try it. So the volume of this pyramid is 1/3 area of the base times the height. The only tricky part about this is that the base is a triangle, which is different from the example I showed you earlier. But we still go through the same process. We still find the area of the base, and that's 1/2 of the base of the triangle times the height of our triangle. So that's the base of our triangle, not the total base. So we know the base of our triangle is 3, and the height of our triangle is 4. It doesn't really matter which one's which. We just know that the base and height are perpendicular. So you just pick those two perpendicular sides. And we know that 3 times 4 is 12. And half of 12 is 6. So our base is 6 inches squared. Now the height, we already know, gave us this vertical height is 4 inches. And so we just have to plug these into our equation. Volume equals 1/3 times the area of the base, which is 6, times the height, which is 4. We can also do this one by hand without a calculator. 1/3 of 6 is 2, and 2 times 4 is 8. So our total volume is 8 inches cubed. Now, the volume of a cone is very, very similar to volume of a pyramid. Just like a cone, or just like a cylinder is a prism with circular bases, a cone is a pyramid with a circular base. So to find the surface area, we're converting this into the circle version. We need the radius and the height, just the standard height, not the slant height. And so we take the same formula we were just using. 1/3 area of the base times height. And we know that the area of the base of a circle, the area of the base of a cone is a circle. So it's 1/3 pi radius squared times the height. So in this example, we know our height is 6 and our radius is 2. Plug those in. Volume equals 1/3 times pi radius squared height. So we have 1/3 times 3.14 times 2 squared times 6. And we want to plug that into our calculator, and that will give us the volume of our cone. So that's 1/3 times 3.14 times 2 squared times 6. We should get about 25.12. Volume equals 25.12 meters cubed. If you use the pi button on your calculator, you should get about 25.13. But remember to use 3.14 on IXL. Now I'd like you to try this next example, example 14, on your own. Pause the video and unpause it when you're ready to check your work. Now, this problem is slightly different in that it gives us the diameter instead of our radius. So if it gives us a diameter of 6, that means our radius is 3. And then we can cross out our diameter because we don't need it anymore. We just needed it to find the radius. We also know that our height is 12, and so we have our height and our radius, and we can plug those into the equation. We know that the volume is 1/3 times pi radius squared times the height, which gives us 1/3 times 3.14 times 3 squared times 12. When we plug that into our calculator, we should get 1/3 times 3.14 times 3 squared times 12. And we should get 113.04. If we use, and that's in yards cubed. If we use the pi button, we get about 113.10. But remember, use 3.14 on IXL. That's the volume of pyramids and cones. In the next video, we'll look at how to find the volume of a sphere, and we'll find the volume of the Earth as well.